Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be on the show.
Yeah, Delanie, man. We go back to 2013, first time, we got here at the same time with the Tennessee Titans, and you were my locker mate next to me. We got a chance to really get to know you. But as I started to do this show, I started thinking back to things that I never really uncovered with you. So I want to kind of actually go back to your upbringing, growing up.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about where you grew up and how you grew up.
So I grew up in Pomona, California. The people that don't know about where that is, that's 30 minutes outside of Los Angeles. Single parent household, me and my bro. Man, but mom's was a nurse, worked really hard. So I got to see how, hard work looked like, you know what I mean? Because my mom, she worked 2 jobs just to keep me and my brother in sports, being able to wear the Jordans that we needed. So I got to see that from my mom, and I bring that up because that's where the journey starts. You know what I mean? I got to see the hard work, and coming from the city I came from, not a lot of people come out of that city. Not in the right way. So going to elementary to junior high, just putting in the work, playing football from Pop Warner to middle school to playing flag football at Emerson, junior high. It's crazy. Just starting to think that bring these things up, and then getting to Pomona High. I remember going into the high, and I remember telling my mom one day, she came up to me and was like, "You got to get a job. You got to help provide." And I'm like, "Man, I'm going to go to the NFL." She like, "You sure about that?" I was like, "I'm going to go to the NFL and I'm going to make sure you don't have to work no more." So, that was always a goal of mine, being able to go to the NFL, but it was obstacles like everything else. I had obstacles, I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood. So, you have your childhood friends you grew up with. When they leading you this way, you kind of you got to choose that path. And it's hard to choose it by yourself, especially,
Facts.
Especially growing up in the hood, and you can't be by yourself. Sometimes you got to roll with people. And I made decisions that, I wish I never did, but I think it made me become the person that I am today, because I realized that things that I did, it probably in other people's society that, they see me as a nuisance, a criminal, that kid you don't want to hang around your kid. So I learned a lot just by my journey. You know what I mean? Having
that, early childhood experience, again, it's not your fault. You end up where you end up, not your mom's fault. How did you get on the right mindset, get to the right mindset to say, you know what, this is not the life I want to have. This is where I want to go. And how did you start putting a plan into getting there?
Well, to get the mindset, it took a while for me to really understand, what I was doing wasn't, the right way of going about things. So I had to see people fall. And what I mean by people fall, I had to see my friends die. Seeing my kids, 13 years old, 12 years old, 14 years old, dying, because of street violence. And me having and I say a platform because my platform at that time was I was a great football player. I was a football player that everyone knew in my city, and sometimes that's why I got passes. So I realized that. I started seeing it like, God, I can be somebody. I can be somebody different. You know what I mean? And it always was an older dude always trying to tell me like, you can be better than them.
Right.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You should follow the dudes that's doing the right thing. I'll turn around like, man, you don't know what you talking about, bro. That's why you live out here. You know what I mean? Like, I would say stuff like that. But when I see going to funerals, seeing the homies going to prison for, 13 years plus, I'm like, okay, I got to do something different. I have this platform. I have coaches chasing me to go to flag lead, to passing leads on the weekend. I don't want to go because my homies don't want to go. So then the coach is looking for me. And I'm sitting there like, if they doing all this for me and I'm not even putting in the effort, how far can I get?
Yeah.
But if I put in the effort, where can I take myself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that once that kicked in, I was a different person.
Well, how old were you when that clicked in?
I would have to say it was my junior year. So after my junior year, halfway through the football season, I got kicked off the team. So I got kicked off the team, and I think that opened my eyes because they expelled me for a couple of months. So I was out of school for a couple of months. I was homeschooled, and I
Did you
think
get in a fight? Would you just like
I was
been defiant?
Just kept getting into fights. Situation happened at a game we was playing Montclair High School, and it was a great game. We was winning. They came back and beat us, and then like when we was leaving, a couple of kids, they knew who I was, and they started talking to me crazy, and I tried to fight, and then the big old fight broke out, and they kicked me off the team, and then I got to school, and the situation happened. Another fight broke out with me and some of my friends, and then they kicked me out of the school. So then I realized like I had the opportunity because colleges was like, "Where you at?" Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They like, "Why you not playing?" Right. We heard you got kicked off the team. What type of behavior you at? So then I started realizing I'm losing my stock. My stock was high at one point, and then it started dwindling. You know what I mean? And I think, well, so my junior year, what I had to be was 16 years old. I think right after that, I'm like, told my mom, I'm about to do everything right to get back to Pomona High. She's like, they ain't letting you back in. I'm like, no, they told me if I do everything right, by the end of the year for my senior year, they'll let me back in. And boom, your boy hit the ground running, man. I'm just like, I got to play football. That's the only way I'm going to get out of this situation. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I need to leave California. So
how did you not let those instances early on in your childhood, early high school, not define you and get angry and angrier so that it keeps your stock dropping?
Because again, like moms, it really was moms. Just seeing moms just work herself to death. Like if I had the ability to change that, and everyone always told me that. And again, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I didn't have that anger. Yeah. Where if we had camera phones, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, because I still was doing my thing, but I was smarter about it, because I'm like, okay, I'm not, y'all about to go do that. I ain't doing that though. Like I'll roll with y'all, but I ain't doing that. Like I can't take no chances. I already took one strike by getting kicked out of school, you know what I mean, and almost catching the felony. So I can't do that again. So I had ways where I felt like I may go down the wrong path, but then it was always. And again, Lamont Love, rest in peace, he got killed. He was an older guy that always looked out for all of us. Everybody in the neighborhood. He would see us, waiting on the bus stop. He'd take us to school, even though he may be late to work. He was just one of those dudes, and he always used to tell me, like, bro, you gonna let another man tell you who you gonna be? Mm. He would say that to me all the time, because he would go to games like, bro, you can go to the league. He like, you probably the coldest person I ever seen. And he grew up watching all type of dudes, and he would always tell me that, like, change your mama life. You shouldn't be hanging with these dudes. Look at these dudes. Yeah. 30 years from now, they gonna be right here. You think you missing something, but you're not. He like, I'm telling you from experience. Because Lamont was cold in basketball, but he wanted to game bang. Yeah. He said, I chose my homies over basketball, and now look where I'm at. And we would go, and I know he cold because we'd go playing, and Cash used to be like, he should have been in the NBA. But he one of those. And that's how we talk out there. Like, he one of those. Like, he the dude that's gonna tell you stories, but he was him. Right. But he a storyteller, because he didn't go nowhere other than where he telling those stories. And I used to be like, I can't never be that dude. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would see things, because I grew up around a lot of older dudes that, they try to influence us to do bad things. So like, and they all had great stories. And then like, someone to vouch for their story, because I'll be like, oh yeah, I live near Tone. They be like, Big Tone? Yeah. Oh man, he was cold. Dude should have went to the league. I hear that 100 times. I'm like, that is, I don't want to be Delanie Walker. He was cold. He should have went to the league. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's what's up. So now you get back to this place where you're back in high school, and your senior year. How is that going for you?
So my senior year, I really was a different person my senior year. A lot of the homies would say, like, who you different, you know what I'm saying? I started hanging with the quarterback. And, you know, he was a white dude. I went snowboarding. I'm like, okay, now I need to change the area, the dynamic of area that I'm hanging in. Because
get some more exposure. Because it's all about exposure.
It's all about exposure. Doing something different that I have never done before. Like go to Big Bear.
Yeah.
Go snowboarding. You know what I'm saying? Go wakeboarding. Go to the Delta. I've never done this with my homies because we don't leave the hood. We scared.
Right.
So I went with the white family. It's like
your eyes open.
I'm like, God, this snowboarding, this is what y'all do out here. And I'm good at everything. So once I started going with them, I kind of was like, they hit me up like, hey, we're going camping. I'll tell the homies, like, y'all want to go camping? Oh, hell, we ain't going there. That white folks stuff. So I'm going camping.
You're missing out.
Oh, they mad at me. I got to fight when I come back home.
Right.
They want to fight me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they mad I left for 2 days to go camping. And when I asked you, you didn't want to go. But now y'all want to try to DP me. Y'all want to discipline me because I left and had fun. So like, that's how my world was, you know what I'm saying? So I had to separate myself sometimes. And that's why I always tell people, like, I can do both. Like, football the same way. Like, to do interviews, we got to turn a switch on to talk correctly to the media. But in the locker room, that switch goes off and we back to who we are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was almost the same thing. Like, when I went to go hang with Josh and them, it's like I can turn it on. I wouldn't scare him. I ain't saying the N-word 100 times, or I ain't saying cuz every word. So it's like I knew how to turn it off. That's what separated me from my homies, and that's when I realized I can do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can step out the box every once in a while and fit in, and then go back into that box and run with the same people I've been running with. So that was the switch. So
now you enter your but getting to the end of your senior year, your stock has dropped because of some issues that come up, and from a recruiting standpoint, you start to believe in yourself, and so you say, I'm going to take a chance and go wherever I can go to get on the field.
Yeah,
was that your mindset, or was it, man, I'm still mad because I screwed up and I could have been here?
I was always mad. I always resented everything and had anger towards the whole situation because, again, like you said, like stock was high senior. Everyone like he's a gangbanger. We don't even want to deal with him. So my whole senior year, I went nuts, and still, the cats was like, "You want to come here? You can prop 48."
Were you mad at yourself or were you mad at them?
I was mad at myself. It had nothing to do with none of the schools. It had nothing to do with the coaching staff because the coaching staff put me in a situation to be great. They tried their best. Yeah. Everything was me. I can't even say the situation that got me in trouble was anyone's fault. I should have escalated. I should have de-escalated the situation. Instead, I did what I did. So like, nobody's to blame but myself. You know what I mean? I put myself in a situation, like I went down a whole lot of holes to dig myself out of, you know what I mean? Because after my senior year, I didn't have good grades. And then I didn't score high enough on the ACT. So I knew, I'm like, okay, I'm in trouble. As soon as they hit me like, you scored good enough on the ACT, but your grades ain't help you. And I'm like, okay, they was like, if you can try to take it and get a better score. I said, that's the best score I'm going to get. Like, I couldn't even believe I got that score, right? So I'm like, I guess I'm going to go to JUCO. And I remember Caparol, Coach Cap was John Caparol was like, if you go to JUCO, you're not going to, you probably won't make it because JUCO is even.
Tough.
Yeah, no one telling you to go to class. No one forcing you to go.
Right.
It's 150 dudes on the team.
Right.
You probably not gonna be just the best, the star athlete on the team. I wanted to prove him wrong. Like, I'm gonna be the star, and I didn't care about nothing else. He said, I'm gonna be the star. So then I went to JUCO.
So went to JUCO route. You end up at JUCO. You're in JUCO for 2 years, and then now it's like, okay, to make that next step is Central Missouri. How did you end up at Central Missouri?
Again, like I said, I dug myself in holes. So I went to Mount Sac, and everything John said was true. Coach Cap was like, it's going to be everybody from all types of schools. It's going to be these girls. It's going to be all these football players, the bad to the good. And somehow I attached myself to the bad. Like in football, during football season, we were on point. After football season, now it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Santa Maria with the homie for like months, not coming back because I'm like, man, I would get that Pell Grant and we did.
Hey, what was that Pell Grant? $1,600 for the semester?
So ours was how the Pell Grant went for Mount Sac. They gave you $8,000 for 2 semesters. So you get $8,000 for 2 semesters, but that cover your books.
Did you have any books when you got back?
Hell, I never brought books, bro. That's why when they used to be like a book fee, I'm like, of course. Like, I'm never go buy books. I'm about to go run over here, go to the little learning center. I'll get the books from there. All you gotta do is leave, like you do like almost like a library rental thing. And I don't know why they never knew that the football players was doing that, but see, I was still on that scheme, and so I went to Mount Sac and got taught all type of bad stuff. I'm like, y'all, this is not where I was supposed to be. So, long story short, I went nuts. If you would look at my Mount Sac, I would ball out during the season, but then on the off season, I would do my thing. Then they were like, look, you got to come and do summer courses. So then every year I had to do summer courses because they like, if you want to get out of here, bro, I had every school.
Do you think summer courses was probably the best for you, so you didn't go back to the environment? You go back home.
No, summer courses was good.
Even though it was bad, but it was kind of almost a blessing that hey, I'm still not putting myself back in those bad situations.
Yeah, because they'll give us apartments. See, Mount Sac was different than a lot of JUCOs. They would like help you out, get you apartments and stuff, but you had to live with like 6 dudes.
Right.
And
there's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, no, I know. And so every time I love summer, I love because you getting all the newbies coming in. I'm the star athlete, so I'm like, I'm going to class for sure. And I would do that for 2 years, and then what happened was I didn't get I didn't have a good enough GPA to go to. I wanted to go to USC so bad. I'm like, I'm going to USC. I don't care about nothing else. And then Pete Carroll, I remember him just telling me like, man, you balled out so well, but we got your transcripts. It's just like we can't take the total
package.
Yeah, you gotta be the total. He was like, we just can't take that. And then they just had some issues going on where they took some players like that and they was being investigated. So like that's why Pete Carroll left that next year. He dipped out and went to the NFL.
Yeah, came to Seattle with me.
He came to Seattle.
So 2010, that was my first year.
I'm like,
his first year in Seattle.
Yeah, when he was at USC, he was there till because I came out in 2004 that year to go to USC. That's when I went to Central. I'm not actually sure when he left USC, but you remember he had the scandal.
He had some stuff going on.
He had the scandal
early on.
So they was I wanted to Prop 48. I said, I'll Prop 48 to go to USC. I don't care, because you only have to pay half for 1 year.
Right.
So I was like, I'll Prop 48. He was like, man, we just can't do it. A lot of issues that's going on. So then that's when they came. Central was talking to me, and I'm like, man, I ain't going to school. Like I literally was like, if I can't play for any Pac-10, because that's all I care. I'm from Cali. I'm like, if I can't play Pac-10, I don't want to play football. So Baumgartner, that was the coach, the receiver coach, and he just would blow me up every day, just like, bruh, you got something great. It don't matter what school you go to. They like, if you as good as you say you are, what everybody's saying, they gonna find you.
Yeah.
And he would tell me that, and I'll just be like, man, I'm not going D2, like, it's not worth it. And one day he got a hold of my mom and was just like, it ain't even about him going to the NFL. It's about him getting an education, and we're going to pay for him to get an education. It's all free. We're going to do this. We're going to make sure he get here. Mom said, you better, boy, you better sign that. You better get him out of here. Like, what's wrong with you? You better get your ass out of here. So
mom kicks in now.
Yeah,
so
mom
no choice.
kicks in. So then I called him, and he was just like, we got a plane ticket already for you. We sending it. He was like, just bring a suitcase and we'll get everything else. And I'm like, you sure? He was like, yeah, just bring you some clothes. We're going to get everything else. And I was like, all right. And next thing you know, your boy was in Central Missouri.
Central Missouri. So now you're in Central Missouri, and your mindset is still, I got to get to the league.
Yeah.
I got to get to the league.
Yeah.
So how was that transition going from now? It's like, you're pretty much in JUCO on your own. You trying to figure out and navigate it. Now you're in a more of a structured environment where there's got some tutors, you got some support.
Yeah.
How did you make that transition, and how do you continue to stack that growth so you can get that opportunity to get drafted?
Well, the first year, the transition was very difficult. Again, like you said, being in JUCO, you have no one really holding your hand, no structure really at all, other than the football program is the only structure you have in JUCO. Getting to Central and having Willie Fritz as a head coach probably was the best thing in my life, but I didn't understand that my first year. He was so mean to me. Like, he would say, I hate California guys because they dope smokers, rapists, and gangbangers.
Oh, man.
He would say that every time.
Cold with him.
Like, goddamn, because every Californian person that was there before me kicked all the team for smoking weed, get accused of raping somebody. Are they lazy? They don't do nothing. So that's all he had. He didn't want me there. But Baumgartner was like, this dude will change our game. Trust me. So he was like, you better show me something. So I kind of didn't like that. I didn't realize what he was doing at that time. Being young and coming from the hood, you don't see a white coach that was as aggressive as he was. He was very aggressive. He didn't care. He said whatever he wanted to say. So I wasn't used to that, seeing that. So it took me a while to be like, damn, I now know what he's doing. So my first year there was crazy. I ran every morning, every Wednesday. And people that probably know me would be like, Delanie I ran every Wednesday because I wouldn't be sitting the first 3 rows. I go late to class. And he broke that. That man broke me. I mean, broke me. I didn't even. It was tough. It was tough my first year, but I started to realize he was trying to turn me into a man, and I thank him every time. You know what I mean? People always ask me who do I credit almost for being here, and I say Willie Fritz because he broke me. He showed me that to be a man and not a clown in this game is two totally different things. You know what I mean? You can be a clown and be good, but how far is that going to take you? Or you can be a man in this game and go as far as you want to go. And I started to realize that, like, okay.
You feel like that's missing in the game today?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of coaching?
Oh, yeah. You can't do that nowadays.
But do you also think that, kids, you still need someone with that kind of structure to pull certain things out of you? Because not everybody get exposed to having – a 2-parent home, good environment. And when you don't get exposed to it and you don't know how those structures work, you need someone to be able to really flip that for you.
Yeah, I wish it was still part of the game, but it's not. And the coaches that coach that way, you're starting to see they like stepping down from coaching in college football, because if you try to bring that structure to a player nowadays and he feels some type of way about it, I'm out of here. I'm going to hit the portal. Right. You're not going to talk to me like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I go somewhere else where they going to yes, sir, me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like.
It could be to their detriment, though.
No, literally, like. And then why you think we start to see the players now, they retiring at like 6, 7 years. They like, I don't want to play no more because that's what's going to happen. They not built like that. They not built tough anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. You seeing players too now. Oh, I hurt myself. I ain't gonna play.
Pull yourself out.
Pull myself out.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the game is changing.
Yeah.
And I think they say because for the college athletes, money wise, yes, but longevity, no, because.
Well, that's why I think this is, these topics that we're talking about and having, these type of stories that you can start to look at, help young athletes and parents not just look at it from a short term. The short term game is great, but when you are retiring from the game at, 30, 33, 34 years old, you got a long life to live. So how do we understand the structure that you need to think long term?
Yeah.
And so I think that's why your story is important, because you had to go the hard route.
Yeah.
You had to go the hard route. And even when you had people trying to tell you that's been there and seen it, you had to learn for yourself. And, but also learning from yourself, you built this beautiful story around who Delanie Walker is. And so now you're here with a coach he's on your ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's on your neck every single day. But you had this thing in you that wouldn't allow you to quit.
Yeah,
What was that thing that you were like, okay, I don't like this guy right now, and I'm gonna go run every day because I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna keep doing it my way. What was that thing that made you continue to just bump up against that and say, hey, screw you, coach, I'm gonna keep doing it my way? And what was that thing that it clicked for you to say, all right, I'm ready now?
It's more like, to me, I kind of want to, and it's funny you brought that up because I always thought about this. How I looked at it was like, we fought we fought and he beat me up every day. So every day I seen him, I had to fight him, right? Because he kept beating me up. So I took it as, I'm gonna beat him one day. I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna show him who I really am, and then he gonna tell me how much he care about me. And that's what I wanted from him. You know what I mean? Because he doubted me every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, watch. One day I'm gonna beat him. And people be like, man, you should just transfer. Go. He always on you. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna beat him.
Yeah.
Watch. He gonna love me one day.
Yeah.
And I would just remember my senior year come back. I didn't even leave. I couldn't go home. I didn't have enough money to go back home. But I stayed the whole year. I worked out 24/7. Everybody left. It'll be like 5 people there. They go back home and stuff. And I stayed there. I remember working out because we had this thing called the mule run, and I never had passed it ever. Even though you supposed to pass it the second day, I didn't. I did it for 5 days because I never passed it for the 5 days. And they was just like, whatever, okay. Like, you gonna run in third group just because you couldn't pass it the first year I got there. So then my second year and my senior year, I'm like, I'm gonna pass the mule run. That's gonna be the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come in first and show them like I'm a whole different person. Yeah. So I did that. I remember doing the mule run and crushing it. And then he kind of was like, okay, we got a different Delanie. Yeah. I'm like, you damn right. This is the different Delanie coming this year. And I realized what he was trying to do. He was trying to make me a man in a kid sport. He's like, stop being a kid playing a kid sport, be a man playing a kid sport. So I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, you're right. I need to grow up. And then I started seeing scouts, and I'm like, okay. I remember my last game as a junior there, we had like 5 scouts in the game, and I'm like, dude, they coming to see your boy. So my senior year was just all about getting good grades, being a role model to the team, my teammates, and playing the game the hardest I ever played it. I got on the dean's list my senior year. Yeah. I probably broke all the Central Missouri State records that year. And then, obviously I got invited to the combine. So like everything came together. And then, Willie Fritz was just like, that's who I saw.
That's what I saw in you.
That's the person I want to shake his hand. Yeah. I need to shake his hand. And I kind of was just like, damn, I did it. Finally, he came at me like a man, not disrespecting me. Like, when we used to lose games, like, we lost the game because Delanie didn't play because it wasn't enough scouts. He would say stuff like that. You're like, damn, this dude is on me.
So you were working to try to break him, and he was working to break
me. Yeah, we was doing both the same thing. Right. I wasn't working to break him. I was just working to get him to just really compliment
have some respect
me.
For you. Yeah. Say, hey,
have some respect.
Well done, Delanie.
Yeah, well pretty much. And he was just working to show me, like, you a great athlete, but you still a kid.
Yeah.
Like, you a big ass kid. Yeah. Grow up.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that because I'm thinking I'm grown. When kids that think they grown, they ain't really grown. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he was just trying to show me, like, you great, but you act like a kid. You getting in fights in the bar, like, you Delanie Walker. He used to say that, and I'm like, okay. I didn't understand that. Right. You know what I mean?
And now you sit here, your senior year goes well, and scouts are showing up for you, and you have an opportunity to get drafted. Did you care where you got drafted, or you just knew that I need to be in the league?
No, I didn't care about where I got drafted. I was a D2 player, and at that time, I think it may have been like one other D2 player that had just got drafted like a year prior to me or 2 years prior to me. So it was more of just like, get me on the team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you guys what I can do. I wanted to get drafted. I did not want to go as a free agent. So that like I pushed so hard. When I went to the combine, I'm like, I gotta go nuts. Cause everybody like, who you? Everybody know each other. Where you? A big I ain't never seen you play. I'm like, oh, I went to Central. They like, what? What's that? I'm like, D2. They like, damn, you here from D2? So everybody kind of on me like, you a D2 player? You made it here? I'm like, yeah, watch this. I'm about to go nuts. Yeah. So everything just had the pieces had to just really fall in place. And at this point, I was a man, so I took this game differently. I looked at it like, okay, now I left school to go train in Houston because I'm like, I need to train. These D1 dudes, they play way higher level than I've played, so let me go train with some D1 cats. So I went to Houston. I'm training with all top D1, Oklahoma State, Texas, and all these dudes in there, and I'm like, I'm giving them work. They like, who is this dude?
He's like, oh yeah, I belong.
Yeah, I'm like, this is I'm like, y'all don't even know. I'm about to go nuts. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, not only did the pieces come together, now you go through that transition, you get some experience with some D1, you realize you belong, and then you get drafted by the 49ers, so taking you back home.
Yeah,
you know, how was that? How was that moment for you? You know, you get a 6th round draft pick, D2 getting drafted, and you're back at home.
Yeah, I mean, that whole experience was crazy because prior to the draft, ESPN dropped the Sleeper magazine, and I was on the Sleeper magazine, picture and everything as a 4th round sleeper. So I'm thinking, I'm going in the 4th round. I'm 4th round, right? Telling the fam, we threw a big party, 4th round ends. I'm gonna make a long story short. 4th round ends. But, I had the 49ers, the Giants, I had Tampa. They all been calling me like, if you still there, we're going to get you, the spill. So I'm like, oh, man, I'm like, Tampa up. No, not me. Then the Giants up. Oh, not me. Right? So then the 5th round rolls in. San Francisco calls and just be like, hey, if you still there, we trying to make some trades, whatever. You still there, we're going to get you. 5th round started to roll out. I don't hear anything. 6th round come. I was 172th pick in the 6th round, so I was the first pick in the 6th round. And boom, that pick started coming. San Francisco on the clock. We all sitting there. It's only a few fam now because everybody started leaving. The party got dwindled down. I see 408. I'm like, oh, that's San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? I pick it up. They like, hey, this is Delanie Walker. I'm like, yeah, this is him. And they like, hey, would you like to be a 49? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, of course. They like, so you want to be a 49? I was like, I definitely want to be a 49. They like, you watching the TV? I'm like, I'm watching TV. And then it was like, that 49ers pick come in. 49ers select Delanie Walker. 2006 draft. I'm like, I just remember just sitting there and family hugging me, start crying, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a diehard 49er fan at this time, and my whole family is, so they like, Niners! And then I come out, everyone in the streets is screaming, Niners! They all heard it. So it was crazy that moment because everyone I know is 49er fans. We all diehard 49ers. To get drafted to the 49ers was like a dream come true. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. So now you're at home, you get a chance to go to the Niners and you get the chance to block for a legend.
Yeah.
I got Frank Gore.
You
playing, a lot of legends on that team. Patrick Willis, you guys.
LeVar Bowman, Larry Allen.
Yeah,
Brian Young,
P.Y.
Some dudes, bro.
And guys that I had to see twice a year being in Seattle. Actually, funny story. I don't know if most people know this, but Frank Gore was almost at Ole Miss with me because we came out the same year. We came out of high school the same year, and we was on our recruiting trip the same year. Yeah. And man, I didn't know anything about Frank. He's a Miami kid, and I'm a Mississippi kid. I'm sitting there, and I see him. We sitting there talking. And the next night, I go and I'm like trying to figure out, like, I want to see some clips on this guy. Man, I put some clips. This guy in Miami, he was just like, just
Man,
going nuts.
Going nuts.
And so I go back the next day, we going, I'm like, Frank, man, we building an old line here. We got a quarterback. Eli, man, is our quarterback. You got to come here. Frank was like, man, I feel at home. I'm coming. And the day of, he called me. He's like, hey, man, I'm headed in to send my papers in. I'm like, you coming? He's like, yeah, I'm coming. I go in, I get my papers in, boom, 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 sitting there. An hour later, I look up, I'm like, man, Frank's not here yet. It's like, all right. About an hour later, Frank called me, hey, man, decided to stay home, stay in Miami, man. You know, they came in and I was like, Frank, gotta do what you gotta do, man. But man, what I could imagine. I wish I would have had a chance to block for that guy. So now you're there, you're getting a chance. Now you got to go prove yourself now in the NFL.
Yeah.
And knowing that you've had this experience with the combine, you had experience with training with some of these guys. You knew you belonged. So now you show up and it's your time to shine. How was that transition for you?
Well, yeah, it was a little different with the 49ers because when they draft me, they draft me as a receiver. So I get there 2 weeks in, I'm playing receiver. I'm number 16. I'm out there muscling DBs. I shouldn't have been muscling cats because they see me tossing dudes. 2 weeks in, they like, oh, Mike Martz want to see you. That was our offensive coordinator. He like,
I had Mike in Chicago.
You had so Mike Martz like he want to see you upstairs, bring your playbook. I'm like, goddamn, I'm about to get cut.
Oh, man.
So I'm trying to call the agent. They like, nah, go now. So I go up there and I'm like, what up, coach? He like, what up, Delanie, man? You been looking good out there, man. We like your how physical you are and how you take to the plays. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm like, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm trying. He's like, yeah, but we're going to move you to the tight end. I said, tight end? He said, yeah, because we want to do an H-back. He said, you know what an H-back is? And I said, no, sir, I've never heard of that. He said, with you and Vernon, we'll be unstoppable. And I said, okay, I've never played tight end before. He
Vernon Davis.
Yeah, Vernon Davis. He said, you better learn or we're going to cut your ass. So I
give me the book.
Yeah, so they switch me out with the tight end book. I go down, I call my agent though. I'm like, hey Vince, I'm about to get cut. He like, what you mean? I said, they just moved me to tight end. He said, so why would you get cut? I said, I don't know how to play tight end. Like, I'm about to get demolished. We about to go out in like 30, 40 minutes for this walkthrough. And they just gave me like 10 plays to learn. He like, man, he was like, all the stuff you went through, you ain't never let nobody like outdo you. Show them you can play tight end. Like, I know you can. I'm like, all right, we're gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So I go, they like go to the tight end meeting room. We switch your jersey. So I go get my jersey because I took this one off because we was about to go do a walkthrough. I got 46. I'm like, oh hell no, I'm definitely getting cut, right? I'm like,
because that was in time in NFL where like you had to have these specific numbers for these different positions. Yeah, because I remember when I came in, I was 73 in college, but centers had to be between 50 and 67 or something like that.
Centers, yeah.
So,
so you couldn't have that, which is weird. Yeah, so they gave me the 46. I'm like, oh, let me switch that. I'm like, give me like 40. Yeah. They're like, oh, someone already wearing 40. I'm like, damn, I ran Norris. I'm like,
You don't want 40 either because then it's like the fullback now.
Yeah, but
like short net.
I was like, this 4'6" is ugly, man. I was literally looking like I'm getting cut. So I didn't even put it on. I put it on my shoulder, go in the tight end room and shit, chill. And I'm like sitting in the back. He was like, come in the front. You need to learn these plays because we're going to see what you can do. I'm mad. Whatever. 60 power. I'm like, man, I ain't blocking no power. Like, I'm saying that in my head. Like, I ain't blocking power. He like, hey, they gonna trade block right here. That trade means y'all gonna all three get on to him and then go up to this dude right here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Not really take. But we get out there. I'm going against Brian Young.
Yeah, be wide.
They want me to go down on his hip. This man toss.
Pop that hip.
Yeah, go pop the hip, put him on the tackle.
Work up to the linebacker.
So I was like, all right, man, he must have stalemated the tackle, saw me coming, just chucked me, made the play, right? I hit the dirt. I get yelled at. I got Pete Hainer as my tight end coach. I mean, ripping me, telling me how garbage I am. So that was a whole learning process. That first few months of going in training camp, I was learning how to play football again because I didn't know 3 techs, 6 techs, 5 techs, 7. I didn't know none of these fronts.
It's foreign language again.
It was a foreign language.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, get on the board, draw over.
I'm used to just looking at all this space out here.
But I'm looking at coverages. Like, he talking about draw over. I get on the board. Man, because some people still don't know how to do that to this day. They could play 10 years in the NFL. They can't tell you what an over look like.
Just what my job is.
They just know what their job is. So, like, he like, by next week, you better show me what an over, under. I need to see you draw it. So I'm here. My notebook was over, unders. I'm just constantly drawing them, trying to remember. And then the fronts and the shifts, I'm just sitting there like, this is about to be difficult. And long story, like funny story, because of Frank, they put me in the game anyway. I don't even know all the plays, but I'm such a good athlete that they kept putting me on the field. Like, they'll throw me a quick screen or I'll get a reverse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they'll just put the ball in my hand, and then I play kickoff return. So finally, one game, it's like, we need you to go in and play fullback. So I'm nervous as hell because I don't really know the runs that well. Like, I know where to go, but I don't really know the shifts. Like, because in meetings, I was never really getting in on none of the run plays or nothing like that. So I'll just be sitting there like, I'm not going to get in. Yeah. And they put me in one time, and I remember motioning, and I pulled the wrong way, and Frank Gore goes, "You pulling the wrong way." As he getting the handoff, I get him demolished because the dude I was supposed to block, free hitter. So after that day, Frank ripped me, cussed me out, tell him don't ever put me back in the game, all this craziness, and I'm just like, I let Frank Gore down. Like, I may never see the field on offense. So that motivated me to get better. Well, obviously, Mike Martz left. Mike Martz's offense was a little hard.
Yeah, it was complicated.
It was complicated.
Yeah.
It was really complicated. So, like, I knew all the pass plays, but the run plays, I just couldn't get them. Yeah. And once he left, we got a new offensive coordinator, and the plays kind of got a little simpler. Yeah. And then I was on after that. Like, I'm like, okay, they made it easy. They just like, y'all block these people right here. Like, don't tell me when you make it hard, like the gap schemes and I'd like zones. Like,
you got a zone.
You just got a zone. Just run on tracks.
Yeah.
When we did that with San Francisco, once we started doing the zones and the zone reads, bruh, you couldn't stop us. It was the easiest blocking schemes ever. Yeah. Take the first color you see. Yeah. Don't ever pass up color to get color. And that's what we did. We fed off each other. So
moral of the story early on for young athletes, pay attention in meetings.
Pay attention.
Learn a lot of the things. Learn other people's job. Don't just learn your job. Because when you get locked in on your job, because we don't know how our body's going to grow. We don't know, what that's going to look like as you get older. And so it's good to know a lot of different things and not just be stuck on one thing. Yeah,
and I started to learn that because as coming in from college, and that's good you just said it because it's different because college, you the star in that position. So you only learn that position. I did this. I was doing the same thing when I got to the NFL. I'm like, well, when they be like, Delanie, you only Tiger. So I'm like, all the Tiger players, that's all I looked at. Right. Because I'm like, that's what he told me I was going to be in. Right. And then I didn't look at everything else. As I got older, I looked at everything. That's why I was able to play multiple positions because I moved around. Because literally when Jim Harbaugh got there, he told me, you may be playing 5 different positions, so learn every position. Like, even I was doing it already, but he kind of was already like telling me, learn this position because we might just throw you in. You may never even get a rep of it, but you may get thrown in on that play. Yeah. Just we'll see whatever they putting out there. So I'm like, okay, at least you giving me the heads up. But so then I just I'm learning every position, X, Y, Z, F. I won't even want to know what the quarterback doing who he's supposed to be checking if he see in the run. That's why when the Titans, I was so advanced when I got to Titans. They put me in the backfield. I already know who we going to. As soon as you make a point, like y'all see the front, I'm like, I've already pointed too. Hey, that's the bike. Hey, we all on it. Let's go. Hey, I hear 56 bike. Hey, we cut to him. You know what I mean? Like, you need to you got to have that. It took me a year to realize that, but once I did, I'm like, okay, in the NFL, you can be thrown in. If you're not the star, you can be thrown in any position.
Well, and even if you're the star and you show that you have the athletic ability to do a lot of things, they're gonna make sure they get the ball in your hand. They're gonna make sure you're in places where you can affect the game. So it's just part of it. Especially, and there's a process to it.
Especially with O-line, like O-linemen, y'all different too. Because if y'all good and smart, they will move you. Because somebody get hurt, we need him over there. We need him to play the hardest position. Yeah. And we saw that happen a lot especially on our squad.
Early on,
in 2013. Yeah.
Now, you talked about the Titans. We're going to enter the Titans era. Now you have a good career in San Francisco, and then now you're a free agent.
I was a free agent.
So you hit the free agency market, and then you end up here in Tennessee, 2013. Mm-hmm. But you come here as the guy.
Yeah.
They bring you in to be the guy.
Yeah.
What was that mindset like coming here and one, getting to learn a new locker room, because it's a completely different locker room. You guys, Super Bowl appearance. Now you coming in to be a leader in a locker room that needs, more guys that's used to winning, more guys that used to be, building a culture. So what was your transition like here on that?
The transition here was, it was some dark days, you know what I mean? Because you'd never want to come into a team and just be like, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
I'm the man. Like, listen to me. Look what I've done over there. Now, that's what they wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Because they would tell me, like, we need you to be, and I'm like, that ain't me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to lead by example. But again, like, they brought in guys like you, myself, and some other dudes that I felt helped build that chemistry. Because it was no way we can just come into that locker room, because you had guys like Chris Johnson that was there, Kendall Wright, Kenny Britt, Nate Washington. Yeah. So Roos, Big Country.
A lot of veteran guys.
Right. So it ain't easy. And I know people want to come in and make a change and be a captain, but sometimes you gotta let it be natural. Yeah. It's gotta be natural. Like, I didn't want it to be forced. So I coming in, I'm like, I'm gonna do everything I can on this field. Yeah. So when they be like, Delanie, I'm gonna listen to him.
Right.
Cause he balling.
Right.
I'm listening to him. He go out every week and take names. That's how I was gonna be able to voice my opinion. Once that started to happen, like within 8 games, I was already I'm in. I'm like, okay, now we get the ass whooped. I got to start saying stuff. And it wasn't easy, because you lose friends like that too. You lose a lot of friends, and we all know that. Everybody know that. When you're the leader and you got to voice your opinion, it ain't always good.
Right.
So you lose. You don't lose friends. They may snicker though, like, oh, here he go again.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we want to win. At the end of the day, we get paid to win.
Right.
And that's all the city cares about.
Right.
They don't care about nothing else. They don't care how close the game was. They don't care how many catches I had. They don't care how many yards you ran, how many people you blocked. You didn't allow no sacks. They don't care if you lose.
Yeah.
They be like, but we lost. What you over here talking about? You giving them no sacks, no hurt, but we lost.
Yeah. So
I was like, no matter what I did, now I got to speak on it, because we need leadership. And Titan fans, they don't think we have leadership because no one was speaking, no one was talking. We was getting blown out. First year, 3
and 13 or something like that.
So it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough because we come in from winning teams. Yeah. And like, don't know how to lose. So it's like, you want, sometimes you want to say something, but you like, damn, it ain't my place right now.
Not time.
It's not time.
Yeah.
It's not time. Yeah. So, I had to learn that, because come from San Francisco, everybody voiced their opinion. Everyone. Yeah. It was like, we didn't lose much, but when we did, it was like, well, the offense didn't play well enough for us to win. It'd be like, damn. It's like, hey, we, you hold your own, boy. Like, you know what I mean? But that's how it was. So when I got to the Titans and we lose, I would bite my tongue until I couldn't bite my tongue. And then as we more of us start speaking up, the culture changed though.
Right.
Every year it started to change. We started getting better.
Yeah.
Because it was now people like, damn, I'm being held accountable.
Right.
These dudes is not playing anymore. They speaking on facts.
Yeah. Would you say that started to happen when John Robertson came in as a GM? You start getting guys like Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray. Then you start getting newer, younger, fresher faces coming in. Do you think that's when everything really started to click? That you start to build that foundation with guys like myself and yourself. The foundation was being built, and then when it really clicked in place, would you say it was around that time?
Yeah, I would say because we had Webster had just got fired. I want to say so. We had Ken Wisenhunt.
Yeah.
So Ken Wisenwood was there, but he just got fired
for a year.
Right. Got fired.
And
then Webster got fired because he hired Ken.
Right.
They fire Webster. They bring in Robinson. Robinson hires Malarkey.
Mike Malarkey. Yeah. And Mike Malarkey is a cultural builder.
Yeah, he was a culture. Him and John, that era changed the Titans football pretty much.
Yeah.
Because John was new. He had to take what he had still, and then he added a few pieces to change. They went and got DeMarco Murray because I know why they got DeMarco Murray because Malarkey wanted him. He wanted Derrick Henry too, but he knew that Derrick Henry was going to take a year to develop into being an NFL running back. So they went and got DeMarco because they wanted to do that smash mouth exotic football.
Right. That's Malarkey's background.
That's his background.
Yeah.
We gonna run it.
Right.
We may run it 3 times.
Line up and stop it.
You better stop it.
Right.
And then we gonna hit you with a trick play. Like you ain't gonna be ready for it. Like, so he knew that was that style of football because he like, I gotta work with what I got. So if we got them guessing, we about to keep them on their toes. Obviously our defense was great.
Yeah.
They always had a good defense and John helped with bringing in more defensive players that Brian Arakpo, Woodyard.
Yep.
I mean, like, so they start bringing in leaders to be on that defensive side too, and because they was already good, they just needed some older leaders on that team.
Right, because you had Jarrell Casey.
You already had Jarrell Casey, Derek Morgan, that was eating nuts. You had Mike Griffin, that was playing safety. You had the McCarty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like we had cats on defense that was very stout. Offense, we had players. We just didn't know how to put the pieces together because we were going from offense to offense to offense to offense until Mike Malarkey said, we just going to run it.
Line up and be simple.
We're going to be simple.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can stop us. We're going to pound it. And then we're going to hit one deep. Over the top. And that was our game plan. So I think Robinson and Malarkey coming together and building something that they thought could change the culture, which it did.
Yeah.
I thought they may have been the 2 pieces to the pie.
Yeah. Well, now the culture is now starting to thrive, and it's, I think it was 2015. You have record-setting year. You have over 1,000 yards. I think it was the same year you go to Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You are now the culture establisher here at Tennessee.
Yeah.
And now you're also setting these records, and the Delanie that you can think back to when you were coming along through JUCO, coming along, now you're here in this place. How did you not let that go through your head and become this guy that just now I'm the man? How did you stay that guy that once your Central Missouri coach got it out of you, that was the guy that you stayed throughout your career?
I was already that person. You know what I'm saying? I was already that person. I don't want to go back to that.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? I never did. And I was that person because that's what I grew up in. That was my surrounding. That's all I had seen. I didn't know any different. So once I knew different, it was like, why would I want to go back there? Like when I hear people be like, I'll go back to the hood. Fuck out of here.
Bye.
I don't want to go back. I'll just be honest. I don't want to go back. I don't want to. I don't want to be classless, however you say it. Can't say it correctly, but I just feel like I just never had the urge to be selfish.
Yeah.
I think when you act that way, you selfish because you making it all about yourself. So me, I was more about the team and being successful because I realized when we were successful, that's when I started getting all the pub.
Right.
Because when we was 0-3, when we was 3 and something, I still had 800 and some yards. Right. I still was getting 60, 70 catches a year.
Right.
But did I go to the Pro Bowl? No. But then once we start winning,
success as a team.
Success of the team makes you greater. And I try to tell people that. I said, we can lose. If you lose in every game and you scoring 5 touchdowns a game, no one cares because they're not going to show your game on TV. Right. You suck. They don't want to watch y'all play. But if we winning games and we doing it the way we doing it, they watching Derek and DeMarco, 2 running backs just going nuts, throwing touchdowns. Now your game's being watched.
Right.
Because all it took was people to be like, damn, that Delanie Walker, man, he cold.
Yeah.
And then I go to the Pro Bowl. But it's like,
not just go to the Pro Bowl, you also become a Pro Bowl MVP.
Pro Bowl MVP, like, come on. Like, so it's just like, I just needed us to win. That's why I took it upon us. We need to win. I tell people, when we win, we all gonna eat.
Yeah.
Because even that one year when, I'm going to say it was 2016, the next year, me, DeMarco, Derek, Jarrell, Taylor,
you had what's punter,
Brett Kern, like
Brett Kern.
We had 6 dudes go to the combine. I mean, to the Pro Bowl. Yeah. 6 dudes.
Yeah,
because we was winning.
Success.
Team success is what they care about. And I tell everybody, like, individually, you blowing them out the record, but no one knows.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah,
because they ain't showing your games. Because no one cares. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm a guy that I can sit here and say you've been the same guy from day one, the first time I met you, and now and still to this day, same guy. When I see you, nothing has changed about you. So, as I look at your 14-year career, and you've stacked them up and had a really good career, and now hearing the other side of the story, man, like kudos to you for weathering the storm and finding that grit and those pieces within you to get here and to stay here. Yeah. And so as I look at that and you start thinking about, a lot of guys like myself, like I tore my Achilles in the game, say, all right, you're done. I'm done. You got a chance to play 14 years and then walk away on your own terms. When did you know you was ready to make that transition out?
Man, honestly, I felt like I was in denial. You know what I mean? Like, you always feel like you can play this game just because that's how we grew up, like thinking we can play this game. But I would have to say just my body kind of was just telling me, like, you can't be who you were in this game no more. It's impossible. You can't do it. Like, I get up and try to work out and
body hurts.
And I'm like, God damn, 19, 20-year-olds coming in full of energy. I got to keep up with this. You know what I mean? And I think what opened my eyes was the workout with the 49ers.
Yeah.
So I went to go work out with the 49ers and maybe I was delusional thinking that I was a 14-year vet that they was going to give me the pony show. Like, oh, catch a few passes. Yeah, we good. You sign.
Like, put your ass to work.
They put my ass to work. I'm confused. I'm sitting there like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, to work, bruh. It was no rest. First, we did like a damn conditioning test before they worked us out. So I'm like, I'm dead before the workout even started.
Who's in shape.
Yeah. And then I figure out why at the end, which I'm gonna tell you. So they put us in a conditioning test first. So I'm like, at the end, I'm sitting, we gonna get a break. Nah, they give us some water, be like, line it up. Let's run slack. So I'm dead already because I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not in shape like I thought I was. That's A right there. So then they putting us to the word no breaks, no none. Remember, I just broke my ankle a year prior to that. So the Titans put me on injured reserve because my ankle was jacked up. So I went and had it cleaned up. So I'm about 7 months off cleanup. Man, I'm doing routes and I'm running them hard because I'm like, okay, it's me versus this dude now. Like with the routes, conditioning, I'll let you get that. I don't care. The routes, and I'm going hard. I can feel my ankle just getting sore and sore and sore. So in the workout, they pull me in first. They like, hey, we like everything you did, but you look like you out of shape.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna keep it. I'm out of shape.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm the type of player. You get me in here, I get back in shape. I'll be in early in the morning doing treadmills. I'm like, I can get back into shape. Like, that's nothing. He go, okay, can you practice today? I go, oh, today.
After that workout?
Yeah, after that workout, he's like, because we got practice in 2 hours. Could you practice in 2 hours? Because we need a guy. We got a tight end down. I literally kind of I thought about it. And I said, I can't do it today. I said, I can't do it today. And if you need somebody to sign today, it's probably not going to be me. But if you need a guy for training camp, I definitely can do it. And he was like, well, if we need a guy for training camp, we'll probably swing back your way. And then that was it. And then I walked down and Pruitt was waiting for his turn. I said, they going to sign you. He said, how you know? I said, I
just told him.
Trust me, they about to sign you. He's like, man, I thought they were signing you. They pulled you out first. I said, nah, they going to sign you. I ain't want to tell them that, you know. Yeah. Then I told them, long story, I told them like I couldn't practice. But they signed Pruitt, but then they cut him like 2 weeks later. So like after the other tight end got healthy, they cut him. So that's why I'm like, thank God I didn't do it. But in my mind, if I would have got there, I would have beat the other tight end. I would have just got in better shape. Right. But after that, bro, your boy I went back home and I told my agent, he was like, man, we can get another try of you. I said, I think I'm done. He's like, you think you done? You done? I said, Vince, I don't know if I'm even excited about playing, like, you know what I'm saying? Because even at this time they had changed the vet minimum, so it was the $1.2 million no matter what. But and they could sign me to practice squad first. Oh yeah, and then I wouldn't even get So when they was talking about like signing practice squad, I'm like, I don't want a practice squad under my belt. Like I even told them now, like I don't want that. And it was like, oh no, don't. It's just the newest way of how we do it. Hell no, I'm good. Like, then I told my agent, he's just like, okay, if something come up though, where if it's guaranteed, like you get like $3 million, would you go? I'm like, yeah. I mean, if it's like $3 million, and I was getting that signed on the active team, I'll do it.
I give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot, but it never happened. Every team was like 1.2. Like we need to see what his ankle look like. We can't just guarantee him something like that, and we don't know if he's gonna play the whole year. So
not worth it for you.
No, I wasn't worried. It was time to shut it down.
Yeah. But before we kind of jump in there, because this has been so great that I even like went past my 2 minute. I normally do a 2 minute in the middle of the segment, and I'm gonna go this 2 minute real quick. Some rapid fire questions for you. Your favorite touchdown of your career.
Favorite touchdown of my career? It may have to be the New England game. It's the New England game. I caught a pass, 5-yard hitch over the middle of the ball. Yeah, took it to the crib. That may be the most talked about touchdown.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. Toughest defender you ever faced?
Ooh, snap. That's a tough one. Myles Garrett.
Okay, we go. You set the bar right out the gate.
Yeah,
a grown man.
Yeah, a grown. He was. I usually cheat and block a lot of people very well. Yeah, that dude. I'll cheat. I held him a few. He punched me in the face in the game too, like because I was held him. But he is maybe him and JJ Watts. Like I have to say, them the two hardest dudes that I ever probably went against.
Okay, most memorable game as a Titan.
The Kansas City game at the field goal.
Playoff?
Yeah, playoff.
Yeah. Okay, all right. One play you wish you can have back.
I'm going to have to say the 49ers game in a Super Bowl. It was like in the fourth quarter, 3rd and something. I ran a comeback, and I bobbled the ball before I caught it, before I stepped out of bounds. And if I would have caught that ball, we probably wouldn't have had to punt it. We would have had more time on the clock. I always think about that, like, because if I would have caught it, we would have had a first down. So, and we lost that game. So I always think about, I wish I could get that play back to help us.
I think we all, as athletes, we all have those plays. Yeah. Like, man, I wish I could get that one play back.
That one play back, because it's like.
Yeah. Gut wrenching too.
Gut wrenching.
All right. If you wasn't playing football, before you even had a football career, what would you have done?
I think if I wasn't playing football, I probably would have been some type of a mechanic. Okay. I always worked on cars, I always drove cars. And today, most of my friends back home, they work on cars. Yeah. So I think I probably would have been a mechanic.
Shoot, mechanics make a lot of money these days, man.
My boy, he literally does NAS, race cars, like, and he do good for himself. So I'm saying, if I didn't make it, I definitely would have been working on cars. Okay. Racing them and working on them.
You know, kind of coming to the end of this thing, you start to get ready to make that transition out of league, but you also have like a, you know, I don't know if this was in your mind, one of these these landings that just kind of kept Delanie who Delanie is, you know. You know, you growing up, two young guys in the locker room, Taylor Lewan, Will Compton, and, you know, these guys go off and start, you know, the Bussin With The Boys. Like, what was your role in this whole Bussin' With The Boys? Because I feel like you're one of the OGs of this whole Bussin' With The Boys scenario.
Yeah, I'm one of the OGs. I'm the actual first episode from Bussin' With The Boys. The first ever episode. When they came up with the idea, I loved it because I was all about that bus. And Will and Taylor always been, me and Taylor was always like this before I met Will. Yeah. And then Will just felt like he was always around too. So it was like, damn, I feel like I know Will all my life as well. And it was just, they got me on the show, and then, you know, that phrase went nuts, right? They kind of went viral from that draft the fucking tight end, he won't play anyway. You remember that? They were selling shirts and all that crazy stuff. So that kind of went nuts. And then, you know, I always just kept up with Taylor and Will, and then one day they was just like, man, we want to do a show. Yeah, you know, you funny as hell, and we need a black person.
You got to change that dynamic ratio, right?
You got to change the dynamic. We got to add some color to this. So it worked out because we all can.
That's funny.
We can all talk shit about each other and not really take offense to it. Right. So that's what makes us kind of work, because we all joke on each other, knowing that it's
great dynamic.
Yeah, so some of it is real, but it's also just joking, but a lot of seriousness behind it. So it works with us, and we all just get along. I don't even know, you know, it's weird because we all different, but we just get along very well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But, you know, you have a lot going on in your afterlife. You know, you have a farm that you're doing some stuff with. You're still mentoring guys in the NFL with the Legends community. You know, just what are some of the things that, especially as you going through this career, that you're able to impart to some of these young guys when you go to the combine and mentoring them through this process? You know, what are some of the things that you leave with them to help them through their process?
You know, it's good that the NFL does that, to give us guys who really not fighting for a position with these younger dudes the opportunity to go and speak to them. Because, you know, it ain't the same like when we got in, but it's like the older dude see the younger dude coming in, he taking food off my table, you know. Right. So it can be, you may not get the best of your veterans sometimes when you come in. So we get to go and just really try to tell them what they may experience, may happen, some of the ups, some of the downs. And this is how you got to protect the shield, because it's all about the shield at the end of the day. Right. If you disrespect the shield gonna disrespect you no matter what. So we try to give them pointers on just to lead them in the right direction of being successful, because at the end of the day, we in the brotherhood, and we just want to see everybody be successful. And I tell them, I want to see you get paid. One day I want to be like, I mentored him, right? And look where he at. So we just, like I said, we give them pointers. Don't ever let a veteran tell you can't do nothing. Go out there and bust your butt. You know, you trying to get a job, because they gonna sit there and tell you to go easy. Yeah. Don't go easy. So, you know, we give them just like insight, things like that, but then also like financially We try to tell them how to take care of their money, you know.
Thinking
always,
long-term.
Long-term. Always have somebody watching your fine. If you got one financial advisor, hire another one just to do an audit on your financial advisor. It ain't gonna hurt him. And you ain't gonna piss him off. Don't think it will. You can audit the team. This is what it is. It's part of it. You know, always have someone you trust to be the no man, like, because you're going to have to say no. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to say no to your family. Like, you need those people. Like, it's just things like that we try to lead them in the right direction because, you know, you giving these kids millions of dollars. They never had it before. And, you know, the family is the first people that are going to have their hands out. Your friends going to be, everybody not only has your best interest. So, you know, we just try to explain to them, like, a lot comes with being an NFL player, so learn how to handle it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good. I'm glad the NFL does it too because, again, you know, when they went away with the whole rookie symposium, you know, you kind of lost a little bit there. And so now finding creative ways to get guys like yourself back into the experience with these kids so that they can hear from somebody else who's been there and done that. And so I'm glad that they pick you to do that because you do have a story to tell and also a story to tell what not to do, but also you didn't fall into the category and say, man, Delanie Walker was that dude, but he didn't do it. So you did it. And so, and part of that too is your community service, all your give back stuff that you do. You know, is there anywhere that, you know, who people want to support, you know, some of the turkey things that you do back in the communities that they can follow? Is there a foundation?
Yeah, it's DelanieWalker.org. You can go to my Instagram if that website ain't correct. You just go to my Instagram or my Twitter. And the website will be up where you can go and help, donate, or most of the time we just like volunteers, you know, we just like people to come out and just help, you know what I mean? Because we rather you do that because sometimes it's just better that you give yourself than your money because it shows that you really care when you come out and volunteer. So
count me in this year. I'm in to support it. Lane, as we start to wrap up, last couple of questions for you. This is a big one now because we're in this era with young athletes that are in the transfer portal, social media, a lot of pressure on them, a lot of things coming their way. You know, is there a piece of advice that you have for these young athletes as they're starting to get through, you know, now the high school pressure and now the college pressure? Do you have anything that you want to just kind of part on those kids?
Even though you won the game doesn't mean you won the championship. So what that means is take your time, always evaluate what you about to do. Don't ever put your name on something that you're not sure about. Vet the people that's around you. If that's because I know now guys just got agents at a young age. Like vet that guy.
Runners.
Yeah,
all these different runners now.
Your friends. Be careful what you put on social media. That will haunt you years later. Because it's a slow process. Like I said, the game is not one. Just because you won the game don't mean you won the championship. So take your time, evaluate, love life, and you know what I mean? Go after what you really want and just take your time, man. It ain't a rush.
All right. Last question for you, Delanie. This has been really good, by the way. As you look at all the things you've done in your career, you look at, you know, where you are today, what is that one or two intangible that has made Delanie Walker who he is today?
Well, you know, it always go back to my mother. You know what I mean? Her being a single parent, raising two boys, and never showing us how to quit.
Yeah.
And I follow that because she never gave up. When everything crumbled on her, she never gave up. She always showed us that she was happy. And I know she probably wasn't happy every day, but she showed me how to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm able to.
Hard work.
Hard work, dedication, loyalty, yeah. And then my second one, I would have to just say I'm relentless, man.
Relentless.
I'm relentless. I'll never give in. I never fold. You know what I mean? I'm always, when they tell me I can't, that's when I'm going to go even harder. Yeah.
Delanie Walker, man. You guys heard it from him. Man, we really appreciate you joining me today. This has been a great, and I can't wait for people to hear this because it's an inspiring story, and it's a story that we can show kids and people how to, you know, things don't always go great in our lives.
True.
You know, there's always going to be bumps and bruises that you get along the way. It's how do you keep getting up, and how do you keep taking ownership of yourself.
True.
taking responsibility of yourself and not pointing a finger at anyone. Because you could have pointed your finger at the neighborhood and all these different things, but you always look back at Delanie and said, okay, I'm gonna keep pushing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited for people to hear this episode, and I really appreciate you joining me, man.
Man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.